Hi, I'm Allie Reynolds with Allie's Organics, and we are going to go over some tomato plant care troubleshooting. The first thing that we really want to do is make sure that we have a healthy soil. We want to have good, fertile soil. The things that I do to start off my tomato beds with is I'll till the soil up. I always put compost in it. If I need to amend it with some vermiculite or some peat moss, then I'll do that. And then when I plant the tomatoes, just before I'm transplanting them, I will water them with some Kelp Meal tea. Kelp Meal tea just helps with stress. It's just simply Kelp Meal, 1/4 of a cup, added to 1 gallon of water, let it steep overnight or a couple of days, then an hour before transplanting. Then we're just watering it in. We want that to sit for an hour. That just helps with stress. Things that we can see in tomatoes, a lot of us want to plant out tomatoes really early. Here's one that's not been hardened off. It got put out in the sunshine, tender leaves, burnt and scalded it. It will come out of it, but then again, you're starting off with a fairly unhealthy plant to begin with. Some other things that we want to do is to use a drip line. Rather than spraying overhead, we want the water to come to the surface right here and go down. We don't want the water to drip off of the tomato plant, and if there was a disease in this soil and it splashes back up and it gets on the underside of the leaves, a lot of times you'll get bacterial problems with that. So this is the best way to go, is a drip line. Another thing that we really need to make sure that we do is rotate crops, especially if you've had a disease in one problem. So anywhere you've planted nightshade, tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, any of that variety of nightshade, you want to rotate it out. So if I planted here last year, I wouldn't want to plant tomatoes here this year. Okay, some other problems that we have is the infamous tomato worm. And here's a little guy. He hides really, really well. This is your tomato worm that's starting off really young. It's kind of hard to notice him right at first, but you can see that the ends of the leaves are usually being eaten off. He can devour this and he'll grow fast in a very, very short time. There's a couple of things that you could do, and there's also a dropping right here. And that's just another sign of seeing him. You can pick these guys off and squish them, or there's another method that you could do if you don't want to touch them, and it's just a garden dust. This is Bacillus thuringiensis, BT is another word, and you would just use the powder on top of this. That takes care of worms. It doesn't take care of some of the other problems though, just worms. There is also slugs and snails that will attack it. This is the look that you get with slugs and snails. Now, you can use diatomaceous earth, and that will also take care of your slugs and snails. Now, infrequent watering is also a major problem. This is blossom end rot. It's a calcium deficiency, and it's also caused from fluctuations of water, which also in fluctuations of water will cause cracking in your tomatoes. Just before they're starting to get ripe, you'll see a crack in them. They'll burst open. Perfectly okay to use. You can cut this off and use it, but you can stop this problem by having regular watering. So just remember, the first thing you want to start off is with a healthy plant, good soil, and you'll probably deter a lot of your troubles with your tomato plants.